My check 1, 2, 3, and we are here. All right. I'm not gonna be long today. It's not gonna be a long video. It just popped up, so I don't even know if I'm gonna get a lot of people come in. It's just some little last minute stuff I want to talk about before the weekend come in. I don't even know if I'm gonna do a live this weekend or not, but focusing on the issue at hand right now. I've been seeing a lot of issues with assisted living through the government, vouchers and everything, where homes, a lot of people just been getting put out of their housing with at least 2 months before you have to leave. I mean, and it's becoming a big issue. What's going on, everybody coming in? Shout out to everybody. Salute, brother love. But the issue I've been seeing in here now is where a lot of people not having, the assistance. That's why I was focusing more on, buying houses and renting because let it be known the rent is gonna go up even more. Like I told you, I had a friend that was saying the minimum, I mean the max he'll pay is 1,800, and that's looking like the minimum. I mean, well, mid between most areas, and the minimum in most areas is 1,800 just to live in an apartment or rent a home. But saying the least, Kay, what's going on with you? See you in the building. It's beginning to be a big issue where a lot of the government programs that are assisting people with homes, they're not having nowhere to stay. So it's gonna come a point to where a lot of people are gonna be looking for housing and seeing that they had this article about Charles Ware. I gotta look at that one. But I know that they were talking about Bank of America and Chase Bank was looking to buy over 1 billion properties. And the government was actually, I seen in legislation, was trying to put a stop to that because you got these other entities coming in and you're in banking, but now you want to own homes, you know, and that's what make companies kind of, split their departments because just like with Microsoft, how Bill Gates had all these Microsoft Office, Microsoft Spreadsheet, Microsoft Word, and to a degree, you know, the companies come in and powerhouse, monopolize, you know, to a degree, and they got to split these up. These companies got to be their own entities. And but saying the least with that, I've been just checking this out. I know in South Fulton, they gave these people 2 weeks to move out of their facility, and it was no big reason why. You know, it wasn't like they wasn't paying on time, and you know, to a degree, most of the homes probably been well, to the degree, most of the homes that they were getting paid through that government assistance. When you stop paying, the owners are going to still want their money. So that's where the conflict of interest came because the government said it was going to stop paying. They didn't give a detail, so I'm quite sure I'll keep you posted on that. But they had a quite similar situation in Decatur one time where a company out of Florida bought these apartment complexes and gave everybody at minimum. I'm like, I think it was 4 to 6 months to find them somewhere to stay. And these people waited to the last 2 months crying about there's nowhere to stay. And, this going back into the family structure to where, you know, I can't sit down with my cousin and have a conversation or sit down at dinner with the family without us fighting, you know, because it's going to come a time when I might need to go back home and stay with mom and dad or grandma or maybe even a brother. And a lot of times people don't look at burning bridges as being a bad thing. They look at it as a good thing. I'm a loner. I can stay by myself. I don't need nobody. Who I need to depend on, who I need to work through or call on or whatever. So that's a real big issue. for a lot of people that come in, and shout out to everybody that's in here and they shouting out to everybody. But one of the main concerns about this is it's going to affect a lot of people on that low income scale that's just getting by and barely making ends meet. And I actually was looking at a video yesterday, and I'll probably get that video and post it into it as well. There was a video about people who were homeless getting government assistance to get housing, but couldn't find houses because no one wanted to take on the vouchers with Section 8 or with any of the assistance programs that they have. And this one couple down in Athens, surprisingly, doesn't have their vouchers for 3 years and can't find homes because, and it's kind of a shady thing that a lot of these homeowners are doing. They're actually taking people's application for these houses. Going on right here. Probably loose a little bit so I can shout you guys out when you're coming in. Normally I don't shout people. I just try to stay on topic because I have a lot of things to discuss. But this is just the last minute thing. So shout out to everybody. But yeah, it's just crazy how they have their vouchers for 3 years and can't find housing. And the people who own the houses are taking these application fees. Some application fees go anywhere from, let's say $75 to $150, almost $200 for an application fee. And then they want you to put all your information out, knowing that you can get the government assistance. They'll reach out to the program, and some of them won't reach out to the program. They just take your application fee and say, well, things that you had on the application didn't qualify you. And that to me is just a ripoff with a lot of these homeowners doing that. Now, the ones that are doing it with the intent of renting, but like I say, that there's issues or, things that they don't allow on the property. Some people have felonies, some people have issues. So that's one of the things that, they kind of go against with some people. What's going on? Wellness with Frugal Mama. How you doing? I breezed through your channel this morning. I was, moving around doing some things. But yeah, I checked you out this morning. You and Tam Tam, always Tam Tam. I was looking over there, y'all. But yeah, but like I said, it's just a lot of people are going through a struggle right now. My arch enemy, Gold Professor's in the building. What's going on, Gold P? But yeah, a lot of people in the struggle right now because when it comes down to it, if you're barely making ends meet with the money that you have, and saying the least, go into a situation to where the actual government that you're depending on to help you, and they put you in a bind, some people getting those assistance, some people getting anywhere from 500 to almost 1,500 plus. So that money that they get for housing, that balanced them out because they might have a low end paying job that after buying groceries, paying the utilities, they're barely making ends meet. And then again, you do have some people that pay only $50 for rent, but to the degree of those people that are only paying $50 of rent, most of them are living off SSI or some type of other form of checks to where that's their only means of living. So they got a budget. If some unexpected comes up or the water bill gets a little bit too high, they got to make sure that, they could cut costs somehow to where they can still afford their medicine. And in some cases, generic brands of these medicines are $800. So just basically looking at this structure of things, a lot of people are going to be going into the 2023 and 24. They're going to have to start dealing with their family once again. This is the biggest thing about the family structure where a lot of people are not focused on. You get to a point where you don't want to deal with family. You feel as if you don't need them. You feel as if you can do better by yourself and just have no dealings with family. It comes a point where that family structure from which we had back in the day is going to start back growing. You know, it's going to come a point to where we're going to actually have to communicate and work with each other as if we were back in the day. You know, because at the end of the day, if I have a 6 bedroom house and let's say two of my cousins, two males and one female, let's say that one female has about 2 or 3 kids, sharing that, 6 bedroom house with all of them to actually, having an understanding that they have somewhere to stay. Of course, it's going to be rules and regulations for them to pay, but saying the least, it's going to help out because they could be homeless. And in some situations, there's points of people being homeless not because they want to, they have no choice. You know, they burnt bridges with their family. They essentially didn't want the help from the government when they were giving them the help, but now they've hit rock bottom. They want the assistance, but the programs sometimes get closed out. Sometimes the programs, they don't, just necessarily take people just randomly off the streets. You got to go through a whole process. And when you have these counselors that try to work with you and put you in these programs, a lot of people, sometimes their pride is where they don't want to take assistance. So it's going to be a lot more. I'm looking at right now going into a lot of people hand to hand working with each other. I'm looking at me actually getting more into farming. I actually started drying out the heads of a pineapple. I'm gonna try to plant these pineapples coming into the year, and it's gonna be a start. I had a green thumb before, but never really stayed up on it. When I was younger, because staying going to the country where my great grandma and them were from, they had their own farm. Go out there, pick up pecans, show us how to grab head of lettuce, twist them and pop them off and bring them in the house. Show to peel off so many, check for bugs and stuff like that. Wash your food anyway. Oh man, Mark, it's been a minute. What's going on, Mark? Man, I be trying to catch them them videos that you be having the shorts. You be doing the late cast, man. I be getting up early now, man. So that's why I'm be staying up all the time with you when you go live at night. I see I might hit the like button and just lay it down. What's going on, conscious? What's going on to you, man? Stepping in the building. But yeah, like I say, man, just looking at it, because I know in South Fulton, I seen a video over there where they were saying that a lot of people got 2 weeks before they have to move out. With all these government assistance programs, they really, I think, are just shutting down the funds, And what if this is going to be a recurring thing for all these government programs? What are they testing out the waters to see if they cut everything off? How can people survive? Like I said, this is going to get back into everybody being, in that one knit circle of that family structure. I had about, I think it's 3. It used to be 4, but it's 3. It's 3 houses now on my street. No, 4. Okay, it's 5. Oh, yeah, because it was 5, but now it's 4. 4 houses on my street. Every one of them had multiple people. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll take that back. It's 3. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, just 3 now because the two move. And what I'm talking about is the housing. Yeah, they talking about the housing for over in South Fulton, the assistant programs that the people own. They're taking their funding away, so a lot of people have to move in 2 weeks, and that's just in the South Fulton area. They haven't came out in any other area discussing, the changes. And like I said, that's going to be kind of crazy because a lot of people depend on those checks to actually pay their mortgage or their rent, and then they go from there. That's not even to say if it's the SSI checks or just only the assistant checks. And I've seen a lot of, somewhat disabled, somewhat elderly people talking about where they're going to live, where they're going to go. Especially if you stay in a state where there's no family around you, how are you going to be able to function? That's going to be one of the biggest issues with that. How are you going to function when you don't have we have about three actually families because two of them they moved. Well, actually, one moved and the other one just split from the grandmother, the daughter, and her husband staying with their two kids to only just the the grandmother and the granddad staying. And it was a crazy situation because the granddad had his own place, and I guess the grandma separated, but then they got back together and let the kids stay over at their house, at the granddad's house. And then same thing applied with the other family, but it was slightly different. They just moved out, and they had about, I would say, three adults there because they had a basement. So they had about three adults there, and out of the three adults, two of them had kids. So they end up, I don't know the situation with their house, but I don't know if they were renting or not, but it was to the degree that actually the house is up for sale now. And I would think they would have something to do within the house, or they just fix the house back up so they can get their deposit back because they cleaned the house up spick and span. The people who were staying there, they were painting, they fixed molding and stuff like that. So they did an excellent job on that house, fixing it back up. The people probably actually paid them to do it because there's only so much of the minimum that you're required to do. But saying the least, man, and the other two, there's one guy, he has him and his wife, and I believe the wife's mother, and three sets of kids. And out of the three sets of kids, two of them have kids. So, I mean, that's one. And then you have another set where it's everybody there, the grandmother, the father, the aunt, and one of the uncles, and the guy who actually owned the house. I talked to him, and basically, like with that, um, in that situation. But when it comes to degrees like that or points like that, that's where a lot of families got to get back to. Dealing with each other to the capacity of being there for each other, loving for one another, doing things for one another when the other family members are not there, or to a degree, just less helping each other out. Maybe if they can stay there for a while and get on their feet, then come back and stay, or to a degree, if you can help them out, give them some money, that'd be more appreciated too, so they can stay in the situation that they're in, and have that freedom. But like I say, that's it for me right now. I'm about to go ahead and clock back in and get back on this job. But like I say, check out for this. Look at some articles and see what's going on because there's a lot of situations where people are gonna start losing housing, and people who own these government checks start hoping for the best because if they start touching this, there might be some other programs they want to take out. Food stamps and so forth. So people got to start paying attention to this because if it comes down the pipeline and we're not prepared, it's going to be a lot of us, behind the eight ball to a degree. So for this one, we once again we here and we gone.